Michael Pryor. In this section of the course, we're going to be looking at strategic options. This section of the course falls under the strategic development model, under development and selecting the strategy. So this is based on the article in the Harvard Business Review in 2016, looking at strategy in different contexts. And this article enables organizations to pinpoint their capabilities and primary strategic direction. Looking at the different positions of organizations, the first two things you need to look at is, can you predict change within your business environment, and can you change the market with your capabilities and resources? So there's four different positions that are talked about within this article. The first one is the adaptive organization, where they can't predict what's going to happen and they can't change it. The second one is the shaping organization, where they can't predict it but they can change it. Then moving down to the classical organization, they can predict it but they can't change it. And finally, the visionary organization, where they can predict it and they can change it. So next we're going to look at these different four positionings and what's required for each of them. The first one is the classical organization. I can predict what's going to happen, but I can't change it with my capabilities. So the key here is for the organization to be big. They have to rely on research, analysis, be able to predict what's going to happen, and then implement it. So the world is predictable, stable competition within their industry, advantage is sustainable, they can analyze, predict, and optimize, and execute rigorously and efficiently. So the advantage here within this type of organization is based on the organization's size, its differentiation, and its both internal and external capabilities. So again, the key here is to analyze, plan, and implement. The next organization is the adaptive organization. They can't predict it and they can't change it. The key here is to be fast. So there's continuous temporary advantages. The environment is not predictable or changeable. Advantages are short-lived. So the key here is continuous disruption within the industry, and the organization has to be able to adapt to change. Part of this is the continuous experimentation of ideas and disruptions. So for the organization, they need to develop a series of strategic options. Research and identify new options quickly and economically, and develop a series of temporary advantages, continuously varying their approach and trying new approaches. The next type of organization is the shaping organization. I can't predict it, but I can change it. So in this case, you need to work on being the industry leader. Key here is to build a shared vision within the industry. The business environment is unpredictable, but changeable. The firm has resources to lead and shape the industry before the rules are written. This does require collaboration between themselves and others within their industry. So there's a need to share risk with others within the industry and for others to contribute their capabilities. So the organization needs to build the market before the competitors can mobilize. They're operating in a high degree of unpredictability based on the stage of the industry and multiple stakeholders. They cannot fully control the market or the changes, so therefore they need to create a shared vision with other stakeholders within and outside the industry. They also need to build a platform for collaboration and maintain flexibility and diversity. And look at the ecosystems rather than individual enterprises. Look at the whole system and build on collaboration over competition. And lastly, we look at the visionary organization. This organization believes they can predict what's going to happen and they can change the industry. So the key here is to be first. The organization needs to create a new model, and the leaders need to believe they can create and recreate the operating environment. They need to be first to introduce a revolutionary new product or business model. Leaders believe that they can see a clear opportunity and act to create a new market. At the same time, they need to disrupt the existing market. So they need to be first to apply new technology, be first to address a customer's need or dissatisfaction. They actually need to deliver something new to a customer before they know what they want. They need to be able to predict. They need to address an old business model and change it. They need to be able to recognize any new mega trends before other organizations. And the key resources required internally are imagination and creativity. So a lot of research and development. And they need to be able to move fast and boldly. So those are the 4 key positionings for organizations. So the question we have here is, which model fits your organization? Is it classical, where they can predict it but can't change it? In this case, they need to be big. Are they adaptive, where they can't predict it and can't change it, so their focus needs to be fast? And then shaping, can't predict it, but they can change it. In this case, they need to collaborate and be an industry leader. And a visionary organization where they can predict it and can change it. In this case, they need to be first. So consider which one of these models fits your organization or your client's model.